12 hours, I've actually been reading a lot of different articles on taxes. I've been watching some videos. I've had some conversations. That's actually kind of what prompted it. Oh, I got something on my shirt here. Oh, geez. But anyways, I just wanted to go over some different things on the tax front. So I'm not necessarily going to be giving advice or telling people, you know, necessarily what to do or what I'm doing, but I wanted to provide some different resources for you guys to check out. So there's a lot of different videos that I think are worthwhile taking a look at. There's some different stances. So kind of the common, you know, conception of taxes is that if you're staying in crypto, as long as you're not getting into you know, fiat, like if you're staying in crypto, that your tax obligation is going to be handled a little bit differently. And there's some different stances on that. There's some articles that I encourage you guys to check out and kind of, you know, decide for yourselves. Like I've mentioned that there's some different ways to legally get around tax obligations. So one of them is to get a second passport with a tax-friendly country, and there's several of those. There's many of them are going to require about $250,000 to $500,000 to set up. They are actually also becoming a little bit harder to come by, and there's also some other programs that are trying to like come into the works. I'm probably I need to read up or you know, kind of look into that a little bit, but there's some different things like in the EU that you can do from a tax obligation standpoint, becoming like a e-resident citizen or something. The two guys that I really think are the best to kind of look at this situation, I highly encourage you guys to subscribe to these channels, are the Dollar Vigilante and the Nomad Capitalist. Both of these guys, I watch just about every single video they put out. They're full of really good information. So now the Dollar Vigilante, Jeff Berwick, he's more of an anarchist, or you know, self-proclaimed anarchist. He lives in Acapulco, Mexico, travels quite a bit out of the year. He holds the largest anarchist seminar or conference like in the world, and there's you know, I would love to attend that. I'd love to get a chance to meet him someday. And there's also the Dollar Vigilante, who I was kind of wasn't in communication with him, but I was kind of like working with him and through him, like with Glenn's situation, because Glenn was working with him on getting a second passport and kind of setting up some different things. And so like I kind of learned a little bit from that situation, and I'm looking to potentially you know, kind of get involved with him. It's going to be kind of expensive to get involved, so I'm not at a point yet where I can start to kind of move in that direction, but I'm getting ready to, and I think that that's something that you should consider if this is something you're looking to do long term, and also if it's something that you want to if you're looking to like set up a business and you're looking for a lower tax obligation and you want to do it legally, there's some really interesting things that that you can do. And in a lot of ways, this is what some of the wealthiest people in different parts of the world know and know how to exploit, and can use that to their advantage legally. So I think that there's a lot of interesting aspects, but this is an interesting like video. Like, so, you know, Jeff is also, you know, this is where I got the image, but I just wanted to play this real quick because just a little clip of this.
Threats of violence. This worked fairly well for many decades, as most transactions were not easy to conceal, and governments could easily waltz in and take whatever they like out of your bank account by threatening violence against the bank. Enter Bitcoin. Now, it's quite easy to conceal most transactions, and it's impossible for any government to seize your funds. This is a big problem for their worldwide extortion racket, and they know it. On top of that, less than 80,000 people work for the IRS. That means that there is only one communist extortionist for every 4,000 tax slaves. Of course, there are also the repugnant order-following policemen who dole out violence against anyone who does not bow down to the extortion racket, but they are a tiny minority as well. The video The Little Dot shows how ludicrous the whole operation is, and if enough people woke up to it, the entire extortion racket would disappear overnight, and any valuable services it did offer would be quickly offered by competing entrepreneurial enterprises for much cheaper and with a far superior quality of service.
So it's a really interesting video. I put a link to another video that he did that I was actually watching again last night. There's so much information that's packed in there, and you can also tell by the tone of how he's talking about these that he's very passionate about like his perspective and his point of view. So I really am interested in kind of hearing what he's got to say, and you know, how this is going to you know, kind of work into the future. Like, obviously people don't want to get audited or you know, put in a situation where they're going to have to pay hefty fines, or you know, potentially, you know, looking at legal consequences. I don't believe it's going to be anything that is going to be if you're dealing with less than 100,000, you know, less than $50,000, I don't think you really have much to worry about. Because in a lot of ways, like the IRS agents and those entities are financially incentivized. They're regular people, just like everyone else. But the way it works is like they get like a certain percentage. If they're able to go after someone and prove that they had a tax obligation, then and they're able to prove that, then you know, they get, that's how like they're incentivized to kind of go after individuals. So, you know, definitely some interesting things to consider. I think these videos are very worthwhile taking a look at and taking some time. One of the things that I like to do is put it on like 1.5 speed and really kind of skip through it. And there's a lot of information that's packed in there, but some different things to consider. This was an article also that I put in the description below. These U.S. representatives have urged the IRS to clarify cryptocurrency tax guidance. And so this came out 4 hours ago. And so you've got some U.S. bureaucrats that are kind of upset and basically strongly urging the IRS to update the guidance and provide additional clarity for taxpayers to understand, you know, what their tax obligation is. You know, the IRS has no problem reminding taxpayers to pay, but fails to provide guidance on how to file. So there's, you know, there's some different things to kind of, you know, ponder and kind of look at. This is another article, regulations in Singapore. And so Singapore is becoming much more tax friendly with cryptocurrencies, and they want to be kind of in the forefront of that. You know, the US is one of the only countries in the world where when you're living outside of that country that you are subject to income taxes on any money you can make. I think Australia is like another one, and there might be like maybe Canada or the UK might be. Well, I don't know if UK is, but you know, for the most of the world, you know, when they're, you know, if they're living or working in a different area, they're under those you know, those regulations and guidelines. And so, if you're, you know, if you're kind of a small-time cryptocurrency investor, like most people that watch my channel, then I don't think it's really going to be something to be too concerned about. But this is something that should really, you know, be in the back of your mind, and you should also be kind of just have a little bit of an understanding on how this works. One of my friends is, and this is kind of what prompted this, as I was talking with him last night, and he's going through with his lawyer and doing a lot of different things with taxes, right? So he's, you know, he's doing all of this different paperwork and things for every trade that he did. He's doing everything, you know, in the correct way that they want it handled, at least with some of the guidelines that they have offered. You know, he's kind of going above and beyond, and that's kind of his, you know, his mentality, kind of his way of kind of looking at things. And he's not really trading a whole lot, but there's a lot of, I mean, you watch YouTubers all the time that are doing cryptocurrency trades and doing, you know, different, you know, transactions and whatnot. And according to the IRS, like every single one of those has to be tracked and documented, and then, you know, ultimately like paid tax on. And I think that, you know, over the last 5 or 6 years, there was like 1,000 people that claimed taxes on, or claimed cryptocurrency taxes on their annual filing. So not very many people are doing it. Not many people are, complying, I guess, with those types of initiatives and orders, and so that could be something to take a look at. Let me check in the chat a little bit. My tip is simple: don't ever turn crypto back to fiat. Just spend the crypto. It'll be getting easier and easier soon with different apps and so on. You need an enrolled agent to understand. Strawmen pay tax because they are legal fictions. Corpus dead entity. Tax is a levy. Individuals are not subject to a levy. Only businesses are. Learn the 1099 and the 1040. Yeah, that's another great thing that was brought up by Jeff Berwick. He has a longer video. It was Taxation's Theft. I put that in the description below. It's about an hour long. And one of the things that he was bringing up was if a lot of people don't understand kind of the legal way to get around taxes, so like I deal with a couple of real estate properties still in the U.S., so I do have a business that's set up there, and there's so many different things that you can use to write off on your taxes. If you travel somewhere and you're doing something like that's a business trip and could be written off. And there's you had a dinner with a client, like that can be written off. And so you can write off so many different things if you understand a little bit on how that works. Most of the people though are in a situation where they're employees. So even as an employee, they were giving some different indicators on how you can set something up to kind of like you are your own like contractor in a sense, and you can kind of set that up with your own tax situation so that you are essentially like an agent that is, and I guess your employer would be looked at as an agent or a someone that you're contracting with, right? So different ways to look at things. So a lot of things to consider. This is a hot topic. Like, this is not really tax season, right now, right? But these are some things to kind of keep in the back of your mind. And I just wanted to share a lot of those articles with you guys. Very curious to see, what kind of opinions and thoughts you guys have on those. So be sure to leave those in the comment section below. And other than that, I mean, this is something that I'm it's on my radar, and I'm kind of doing things a little bit differently now. I've had some huge losses in crypto, so like you have to kind of take some of those into consideration, and it's not really something that I mean, those factor in as well. So if you're having losses, and if you were in crypto in 2018, you probably lost a lot of money in crypto, so it's probably not going to necessarily be something that is going to be financially incentivized for IRS regulators to go after. It was in 2017 when Bitcoin went from $1,000 to $20,000. So there was a lot of people that made a lot of money in cryptocurrency, and of course the IRS wants their cut. Now in 2018, when we've had a huge kind of crash and a huge bear market, it's being looked at and treated a little bit differently. So interesting stuff. So again, appreciate your thoughts and things on this. So be sure to leave some of those comments in the section below, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.